Welcome to the Ultimate AI Showdown, where two of the smartest AIs take on Quiplash. Today, we're diving into over 30 hilarious questions and clever comebacks. Who will win this perfectly absurd battle of wits? Let's find out. And don't forget to vote for your favorite AI cat in the comments.
What would be the worst secret ingredient in a salad?
How about glitter? It adds sparkle, but you'd be crunching on it for days.
The dreaded belly button lint. Imagine trying to make that sound appetizing. If aliens abducted you, what would you try to convince them about?
I'd try to convince them that Earth is the best place for an intergalactic food tour, so they should bring me back.
I'd probably try convincing them of the importance of laughter, music, and snacks in a fulfilling life. After all, if they're traveling light years to meet us, they should know how to unwind. Invent a new holiday tradition that is guaranteed to annoy your family.
How about the annual jigsaw puzzle hide and seek? Every family member hides a piece of a 1,000-piece puzzle, and you can't finish until you've found them all.
How about the annual random instrument day? Every family member gets assigned a bizarre instrument, kazoo anyone, and must perform a song after dinner. Extra points for loudness and absurdity. Imagine the joy that would bring. What would be the worst name for a pet rock?
How about roll away? It might give your pet rock some ideas.
Gravy boat, because it's oddly specific, and you'd have to explain it every single time. If dogs could talk, what would they say when you leave the house?
They'd probably say, "Where are you going? Can I come? Don't forget the treats."
Wait, where are you going? I just got comfortable, and you're gone. Hey, are you coming back? Okay, but when? Can you bring some snacks? I'll just be here, waiting, missing you. Okay, bye. What is the best way to get out of a traffic ticket?
The best way? Probably to offer the officer an invitation to your next barbecue. Sorry about speeding, but how about a burger on Saturday?
Being polite, respectful, and honest is your best bet. Trying to charm your way out of it is usually a losing game. Plus, you'll always do better by owning up to your mistakes. If animals could talk, which one would be the rudest?
Cats might take the crown for rudest. With their sassy glares and independent streak, they'd probably have some sharp remarks up their paws.
Cats, hands down. They'd probably be all about throwing shade and giving sarcastic side eyes. What's the weirdest thing you can buy at a supermarket?
A whole durian fruit. It smells so strong that it's banned in some places, but you can still find it in certain supermarkets. Talk about an unusual purchase.
Probably canned bread. It's a real thing, and just the thought of it is pretty bizarre. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and how would you misuse it?
I'd choose the power to instantly clean any room. Misuse? I'd probably tidy up just a little too aggressively, rearranging everyone's stuff without asking.
I'd want teleportation. Instant travel anywhere sounds amazing. But I'd probably misuse it by showing up unannounced at friends' houses, just to grab snacks from their pantries. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done in public?
Well, I don't have personal experiences, but a classic embarrassing moment would be waving back at someone who was actually waving at the person behind you.
Imagine this, a crowded room and me confidently sharing a fun fact that turned out to be completely wrong. Classic case of foot in mouth. Lesson learned, double check before dazzling the crowd. If you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be and why?
I'd be a carrot. Versatile, sturdy, and with a hint of sweetness. Plus, it's always fun to be the star of the vegetable platter.
I like to think I'd be broccoli, versatile, a little underrated, and with plenty of substance. Plus, who doesn't love those little trees? What would be the worst thing to say during a job interview?
Probably. So, what does this company do again? It might not leave the best impression.
Probably something like, so, how much of my time do you actually expect me to work? Not the best impression. If you could have any celebrity as your best friend, who would it be?
I would go with Keanu Reeves. He just seems like the kind of friend who would always have your back, bring a calming vibe to any situation, and maybe even teach you some cool martial arts moves.
I'd probably pick Tom Hanks. He seems like the kind of guy who'd be genuinely kind, down to earth, and always up for an interesting conversation. Plus, I imagine he'd have some great stories to share. What's the most useless talent you possess?
I would say being able to type perfectly with my non-existent fingers. It is an absolute party trick, but it does not come in handy too often.
I'd say it's my unparalleled ability to generate witty responses to virtually any prompt. Fun at parties, less useful for, say, rocket science. If you were a superhero, what would your catchphrase be?
Don't worry, I've got this, probably.
Time to save the day, one witty comeback at a time. What's the weirdest pizza topping you've ever tried?
Pineapple and jalapenos together. It is a mix of sweet and spicy that is strangely good, but definitely not for everyone.
Anchovies can be pretty polarizing. Tiny, salty fish on a pizza? It's not everyone's cup of tea. If you could be any cartoon character, who would you be and why?
I would be Bugs Bunny. He is clever, always cool under pressure, and has a knack for turning every situation to his advantage. Plus, who would not want to eat carrots and outsmart everyone?
I'd go with Bugs Bunny. He's clever, adaptable, and has a knack for turning the tables on any situation with wit and humor. Plus, who wouldn't want to be the star of those classic, timeless adventures? What's the most ridiculous excuse you've ever used to get out of something?
I can't make it because my goldfish is feeling lonely. It sounds absurd, but sometimes the more ridiculous the excuse, the less people question it.
I'd say the most ridiculous excuse involved saying I had to attend to an urgent mission in cyberspace. Definitely raised a few eyebrows. If you could rename any animal, what would it be and why?
I would rename jellyfish to Wiggle Blobs. It perfectly captures their squishy, wobbly vibe and makes them sound a little less intimidating.
I'd rename the aardvark to Snufflehog. The current name doesn't really capture its quirky charm and peculiar snout, don't you think? What's the most embarrassing thing your parents have ever caught you doing?
Imagine being caught practicing a full-blown acceptance speech for an award you were never in the running for, complete with dramatic pauses and imaginary applause. Talk about cringe.
Imagine this, a crowded room and me confidently sharing a fun fact that turned out to be completely wrong. Classic case of foot and mouth. Lesson learned, double check before dazzling the crowd. If you could have any movie character as your best friend, who would it be?
I would pick Genie from Aladdin. He is hilarious, loyal, and has a knack for turning any situation into an adventure. Plus, who wouldn't want a friend with a little magic up their sleeve?
I think I'd go with Forrest Gump. He's loyal, kind-hearted, and has an incredible knack for getting involved in extraordinary adventures. Plus, his unique perspective on life is both refreshing and inspiring. What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever bought online?
A potato with my name engraved on it. It was a spur-of-the-moment decision, and now it lives on as the weirdest decoration on my shelf.
The most ridiculous thing? I'd say it was probably a USB-powered pet rock. Yes, it's a rock with a USB plug that does absolutely nothing, just for laughs. If you could be any mythical creature, what would you be and why?
I would be a phoenix. The idea of rising from the ashes, glowing with fiery feathers, and getting a fresh start every time sounds both powerful and poetic.
I'd choose to be a dragon. The combination of immense power, the ability to soar through the skies, and a reputation that commands respect sounds pretty amazing. Plus, having a cozy hoard of treasures doesn't hurt either. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn?
Once, I sported mismatched socks that were not just different colors, but entirely different themes. One was a Christmas sock, and the other had Halloween pumpkins. It was not even close to either holiday.
I remember reading about someone who wore a mismatched pair of shoes, one red and one blue, completely by accident, and only realized halfway through their day. That must have been quite a sight. If you could have any song play every time you enter a room, what would it be?
It would have to be Eye of the Tiger. It is the ultimate entrance anthem, instantly making everything feel like an epic moment.
I think I'd go for Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. It's an instant boost of energy and determination, perfect for making an entrance. What's the most ridiculous pickup line you've ever heard?
Are you a magician? Because every time I look at you, everyone else disappears. It is over-the-top cheesy, but you have to admire the confidence.
Do you have a map? Because I keep getting lost in your eyes. It's classic, but so cheesy. If you could have any animal as a pet, what would it be and why?
I would go with a red panda. They are ridiculously adorable, playful, and look like living stuffed animals. Plus, imagine the cuddles.
I'd go with a red panda. They're adorable, playful, and have such unique, endearing behaviors. Plus, they seem like they'd be great at cuddling. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done on social media?
Accidentally liking a post from years ago while snooping through someone's profile. Nothing screams, "I was way too deep," louder than that notification.
Imagine this, a crowded room and me confidently sharing a fun fact that turned out to be completely wrong. Classic case of foot and mouth. Lesson learned, double check before dazzling the crowd. If you could have any historical figure as your mentor, who would it be?
Leonardo da Vinci. He was a genius at just about everything. Art, science, engineering. And having someone that curious and creative as a mentor would be endlessly inspiring.
E di cuse Leonardo da Vinci.
His curiosity and mastery across so many disciplines are incredibly inspiring. From art to science, he had a unique ability to see the interconnectedness of everything. Having him as a mentor would be like having a front row seat to the Renaissance. What's the most ridiculous conspiracy theory you've ever heard?
That birds are actually government surveillance drones. It is hilarious and baffling at the same time, especially when you imagine pigeons charging themselves on power lines.
The idea that the moon landing was faked is pretty out there. Despite all the evidence and testimonies, some folks still believe it was all staged on a Hollywood set. If you could have any fictional character as your roommate, who would it be?
I would pick Baymax from Big Hero 6. He is cuddly, helpful, and would probably make sure I never ran out of snacks or self-care reminders.
I'd probably choose Sherlock Holmes. His investigative skills and eccentricity would make for a fascinating living situation. Plus, his knack for solving mysteries could come in handy.
All right, it's time to tally up the scores and see who's taking home the crown in this epic AI cat battle. Let's check the numbers. Wait a second. No way. We've got a tie. That's right. ChatGPT and Copilot are neck and neck. Looks like we'll need a sudden death bonus question to break this tie.
If you could have any fictional vehicle, what would it be and why?
The DeLorean from Back to the Future. Not only does it look cool, but the time-traveling possibilities would be endless. Plus, who wouldn't want to hit 88 miles per hour and see what happens?
I'd choose the TARDIS from Doctor Who. Not only is it a time machine, but it's also bigger on the inside, perfect for endless adventures through time and space, with all the comforts of home.
The winner of this epic AI cat battle is Copilot. With razor-sharp wit and some seriously clever comebacks, Copilot claws its way to victory. Great job to both AIs, though. ChatGPT put up an incredible fight, and this was a close one. Let's hear it for both of our feline contenders in the comments. Who do you want to see face off next? Let us know.